So notice here that we have one of these fields as view, one of these as edit. Remember, we set up this toggle. Notice how it changed to true and false. Pretty cool, huh? So this is all working, but today what we're going to do is we're going to go over this ability to change the value of this display mode so that we can either view it or, look at that, edit it. So stay tuned. We're going to jump right to it. All right, so this is very helpful if you're using grid views, for example. And we've only got it set up on the first box because we're going to program it together on the second box. But people can view the records and then they can click on edit. We're going to walk through all of these details in this video. So where do we get started? Well, the first thing that we want to do here, and we're going to look at our training document here. Here we're going to set, and this is what we're doing, right? View mode, notice the date. You can't do anything with it, and the choice box, but here, notice you can. That's in edit mode. So the first thing we want to do is wire up the app section. So the on start right up here to app and on start. Notice we've already typed it in, so pause the video if you need to, but we're going to set the default to true. Okay, so we're going to say that when the user comes in, it's going to automatically allow them to edit. And we're going to go ahead and do a run on start. And now notice when we did the run on start, now it's an editable field, right? We have the blue box indicating that we can edit. Of course, if we clicked on that, it's going to change it, but we're going to program those in a minute. So that's the first thing you need to do. Program this bad boy right here, this button. Again, it's the on start, and then here's the code itself. Pause the video if you need to, but do not forget the important step to do a right click and click on run on start. Now, to check to make sure it's run on start worked correctly, notice here we've set it to true. Let's go ahead and check that right here. Click on the 3 ellipses. Now, if you're using an older version or your tenant has an older version of Power Apps, it's going to be a back button over here that you're going to see the variables and collections. But in this one, it happens to be here. We're going to click on variable. Notice it's set to true. We're going to go back. And now we're going to change this to false. We're going to run this again. Now we're going to go back over to that variable. Look at that. It's false. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so that's first thing we need to do. Second thing we need to do is wire up this text box itself. Now notice here, we're right here inside of our gallery, inside of this text box. Okay, and we notice here that we're on the display mode. Now, where else do we see display mode? Well, if you search in your advanced section, you can see, well, we reset it. So let's look at this one real quick. You can see display mode on what it is normally set up when you first start, display mode.edit. Okay, and you can change that value right here, display mode.edit or view. So that's pretty easy. Then we can go here and we're going to programmatically do that. So we want to say when they click on this button, we're going to change that variable to change the display mode dynamically. Okay, kind of cool. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first thing we need to do is set up, we've already set up this variable right here called edit grid. So let's go ahead and change the display mode to edit true. Now, don't do this on the visible mode. So key thing, make sure you're on the display mode. A lot of times, for some reason, I do it on visible when I'm not thinking, and then I'm like, it doesn't work. It's because it has to be set to display mode. So display mode, I've got that cell right there highlighted. I've set display mode, and I've set these values. Now notice I'm going to expand it out a little bit. This is display mode.edit and display mode.view, display mode.view, right? And notice that we're coding it. But if we look at this guy, display mode.edit, and remember we did that over here, display mode.edit. So hopefully you got that. And display mode, we're going to go back to this guy. So that's what we're going to do. If it's true, we're going to do that. Then we're just going to hook up this guy and say, hey, look, if that variable's true, we want to edit. If it's false, okay, we want to view. So that's kind of the setting. And remember, this edit, false, and view, remember, we're setting that here, right here. We're setting that if it's true, we're going to edit. If it's false, we're going to view. Remember, this is a true. What do I do? If it's true, then do this. If it's not true, then do this. Okay? So that's kind of how we set that up. Pretty easy, right? Now, let's go ahead and go back to the document here and see what we're talking about here. So I've gone ahead and put that text in here. So pause the video if you want. This is what we talked about with the app, right? Right here, app on start. And then the second one is right here. This is where we're setting up the box right here. So remember, display mode, if true, edit, view, okay? So, and we just showed you that, and then this is the code for that, okay? Right here. So again, pause the video, use this as a reference if you need to. Now let's go ahead and how do we set the display mode for the rest of the values within the app? So we don't want to go through that every single time. What we're going to do is we're just going to point to this display mode. So right now it's set to edit, but we wanted, the first one we did was right here, text note. So we're just going to type in text note, okay? And then we're going to say dot display mode. Now it's going to inherit all of the settings that we do here. It's going to inherit to here. So now everything should work just fine. So when we hit play, notice here, we can't edit anything. We can go down through the records, but we can't edit any of them. Now we want to edit. We just simply click there. Watch this. Remember, see the other video on the toggle save. But here, look at that. True. It works. Okay? Or same thing here. Look, watch. True. It works. Pretty cool, huh? And all I'm hitting is a space bar. Pretty wonderful. If I want to go back here, of course, I can click on view again, and it blocks us out from editing. So that's about it. Pretty simple to do. Set up a grid, ed, and view boxes.